everybody, Gabby here. So I was going to record a battle video to upload today, but then the Play Pokemon Twitter account posted this lovely image of usage statistics from the first week of the Players' Cup competition. And I thought it would be a lot of fun to kind of look over this, maybe compare it with some of the other usage statistics that we have and see what it means. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be seeing any teams from the Players' Cup. Well, I'm not really sure. So this is all the data we have for now, but the data tells a story, and let's go ahead and figure that out. So for cross-referencing these usage statistics, I'm going to be referring to the Battle Stadium Doubles data from the Pokemon Sword and Shield, online ladder. And I'll be using the Pikalytics website in order to visualize that. The only other way you can see that data right now is through the Pokemon Home application, but I thought that would just be too much trouble to record a video with, so Pikalytics it is. I sing praises to Pikalytics a lot. They're a really cool website. They're an amazing dev team. Definitely go check them out if you hadn't prior to this video. So yeah, let's talk some numbers. Rillaboom is the #1 ranked Pokemon on the Players' Cup usage list, and coincidentally, as of today, which is the 27th, I believe, Rillaboom is also #1 on the usage ladder, which makes sense. I mean, Rillaboom is a very strong Pokemon. Getting access to Grassy Glide in the DLC, giving it a priority move along with its hidden ability, has just been insane. Now, if you haven't seen this interface before, base stats I feel are pretty self-explanatory. However, as we get down here towards moves, teammates, and items, this is where the more interesting stuff is. You'll see here that approximately 93% of all Rillaboom played right now on the Battle Stadium's double ladder have the move Grassy Glide, 82% have Fake Out, 65% have Knockoff, 52% have Wood Hammer, and so on and so forth. Now, unfortunately, you can't really discern a specific set from these percentages. They're just percent, does it appear on this Pokemon or not? But if you look at it with context of teammates and items, you can begin to tell a story. A lot of Rillaboom have Fake Out and Grassy Glide and Knockoff. I think those all are just great moves to have right now. The last move really depends on coverage and what kind of Rillaboom you're running. If we look at the items column, you'll see that Assault Vest is the #1 item by a lot, followed by Miracle Seed, Choice Band, and Koba Berry. Shoutouts to Dan for the Koba Berry. I'm pretty sure you're part of the reason why that number is so high. So if you're running an Assault Vest Rillaboom, you're probably going to want another attack move other than Protect, and depending on the teammates that you have with you, you'll probably want it to be some form of coverage move, though a majority of people seem to be going for Wood Hammer as that last move slot rather than some of these coverage moves. Personally, I've been seeing probably more high horsepower than any of these fighting type moves. I don't think fighting type really gets you any coverage that you wouldn't get outright for grass typing, since Tyranitar is really the Pokemon that jumps to mind. I guess maybe Incineroar for fighting types, but if you look at these teammates, you can see that it's likely you'll have a Pokemon like Primarina or maybe even a Cinderace on your team alongside of the Rillaboom that can handle anything that Rillaboom would lose to, mainly this guy, the Incineroar. So I think it's a very justified % Pokemon. I think that if you're building a team right now, you really need to be prepared for it. And I just scrolling down, like 99.702% of all Rillaboom have Grassy Surge. So, I think people are pretty much locked into having that kind of Rillaboom on their team. And if you're building something right now for Series 5, or maybe even, I don't know, you're trying to do a little weather forecasting for the future, you definitely want to make sure that you have your Rillaboom counter down. So moving on, the next popular Pokemon is Togekiss, followed by Incineroar. And going back to Pikalytics, you can see that those numbers are, in fact, directly matched here. Togekiss is on 35.21% of all the teams in the meta right now. Incineroar is on 28%. I don't want to spend too much time talking about these two Pokemon. I feel like there's a lot of people who have spoken about them better than I have. The one thing I do want to check is just items. With Togekiss especially, the kind of item and the ability you're running is probably more important than anything else on your team. All Togekiss will run Follow Me plus some attacks, so Scope Lens is still the most popular one, which makes sense. I think especially when you look at how Super Luck down here is at 84% usage. People are really going for the Crit Kiss right now. Serene Grace coming in at 15%. is, you know, still notable, I think, but a lot of people are looking, I think, to use their Togekiss as a Pokemon that can deal critical hits to maybe make up for the fact that it's more defensively invested for its EVs. I like the safety goggle call out as well. I think safety goggles is a really important item to have right now. It's on 11.25% of Togekiss. Having safety goggles on a Pokemon that can use Follow Me is really cool because then you don't have to worry so much about those surprise spores and all that nonsense. And just real quick, looking at Incineroar, yeah, this is, I mean, honestly, this is what I would expect after seeing Incineroar in the format for so long. Somehow Agua Berry is still the #1 item, and I don't really understand that, but I guess it is what it is at the end of the day. Followed by safety goggles. Again, really important now that we're seeing an uptick in Amoonguss usage overall. Going on, so Tyranitar and Cinderace are the next 2 popular Pokemon, followed by a Dragapult, Indeedee, Porygon 2, and Whimsicott. I find this interesting because I don't think any of these Pokemon necessarily define the type of team you would run them on, as opposed to looking at the second column, these Pokemon with the lower percentiles. Those really, I think, define just what kind of team you're using. Looking at the Dusclops, I would just put it on any Good Mons team at this point. Primarina, same thing. Amoonguss, same thing. The Torkoal Venusaur combination coming in at 13% is super interesting because I think what happened was people started using Torkoal Venusaur right around the beginning of the Players' Cup, and then it just kind of exploded in usage because people saw how good it was. I believe the first week of the Players' Cup was the first week of July, and that was when I personally first heard about it, so that would make sense according to my personal timeline. Really strong core, something that I've definitely had my eyes on personally as I'm trying to figure out what kind of stuff I like to run in the meta right now. So I would expect that number to sort of be jumping up in usage. And if we look over at Pikalytics again to try and correlate that, you know, scrolling down the list of Pokemon usage, where are you, my friend Torkoal? You know what? Pikalytics has a search option. Let's just use that. So Torkoal's actually only at 8% usage, whereas Venusaur is also at 8% usage. So again, because those numbers are so close together, it's most likely these 2 Pokemon are being run on the same team. And okay, well, Charizard not so much, but yeah, it's definitely a core that you have to watch out for if this is something that you're trying to, you know, if you're trying to build a new team right now. Other notable things from these usage statistics is Porygon Z only coming in at 10%. If you look at the usage for, oh no, I take that back. It's actually only 7% on Pikalytics right now. So that's actually a little bit higher than what I would expect. Also, the Urshifu coming in at 11% is interesting to me. Well, Urshifu fighting. Urshifu water is down there at 7%. Thank you to whoever made this graphic for differentiating between the two. That was very nice of you. It's certainly a very interesting Pokemon. I don't think people have really necessarily figured out how to play with it yet. Certainly at the beginning of the Players' Cup, that just wasn't something that was on people's minds. Also, the uptick in Talonflame and Arcanine, I think, is something interesting to see. Talonflame really benefited from, 1, coming back in the DLC, but 2, having dual Wing Beat now as an option for a flying type attack, so you don't take damage from Brave Bird and you don't get rid of your own Gale Wings ability. Arcanine's rise in popularity has been in response to Venusaur coming back, and also Rillaboom being a huge important Pokemon. I was going to mention this earlier, but Indeedee on its own at 20% with Hatterene at 11%, that's something interesting to note because that means people aren't bringing Hatterene and Indeedee at the same time necessarily, and could be an indication that players prepping for the Player Cup were trying to have this option to stop priority attacks, possibly also to remove terrain from Rillaboom. These are all things that I think we have to consider as competitive players going into whatever the next form of competitive Pokemon will be. And last but not least, I do want to take a quick moment to shout out to the homie Politoed and Kingdra sitting in at 7 and 5% respectively. I've been trying so hard to make these two work, but it's really interesting to play them in a format with Dynamax. I think Dynamax has done Kingdra a lot of good, but with Rillaboom so popular right now, it's just so hard to run a rain team. You need to have your Rillaboom counter like down, and unfortunately that means that really kind of sets up 3 Pokemon on your team. You know, Politoed, Kingdra, Rillaboom counter, and then question marks for the other 3. It just makes it more hard to build around, I think. But I've been seeing more and more use of Politoed independently, which makes me very happy. I think it's a great support Pokemon. There's a lot of cool things you can do there. Being able to switch in Rain as well on Torkoal and Venusaur is amazing because then you get rid of the chlorophyll ability that Venusaur has, so it's not so speedy. It's definitely something to keep an eye on if you're looking to team build right now. And one other thing, I feel like I could talk about this forever, but I'm trying to limit myself to around 15 minutes, which means I only have a couple more minutes to talk. Terrakion coming in at 5%. I've been seeing a couple team reports from Players Cup already that had Terrakion not only as a fast attacker, but as a possible coaching Pokemon. This is something I'm looking to explore a little bit more on this channel, so we'll see that in the future. But yeah, just really interesting data. If you haven't had a chance to look over these numbers yourself, there's a link to the tweet in the description, in addition to Pikalytics with the current rankings for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Definitely take a moment to be familiar with these things. I think that you can learn a lot from numbers alone. And if you're looking to build a team, maybe inspired by some of these Pokemon you're seeing do well in the Players' Cup, now would be an amazing time to do that, because what else are you going to do? Really? So yeah, that's all I got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, let me know what you think about these numbers down in the comments. Is there anything that you were expecting to see higher, lower? Any cool sets for any Pokemon that you want to share, maybe from your own Tales of Players Club Lori? Let me know. And please also like, comment, and subscribe. Praise the YouTube algorithm. And until next time, I will see you later.